Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Enjoying such a beautiful day. It's about 80 degrees, sunny, sitting out here in the shade out in the yard. It's gorgeous. Today's topic is going to be others' opinion is not your truth. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's enjoy the peace and quiet. Hope everybody here in the USA is enjoying a nice 4th of July. Actually, anybody, anywhere, hopefully you're enjoying whatever day it is whenever you watch this. But breathe in the peace. Exhale the stress and the chaos. Take a moment to just slow down. Just slow down. Relax your body. Slow your breathing. All right. So, others' opinion is not your truth. The statement I really like is, what other people think about you is none of your business, right? What's that other phrase? So comedians used to say it decades ago. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one and they all stink, right? So, forgive the language. But, yeah, what other people think about you, it's not your truth. That includes doctors. That includes family who think you're doing this health stuff wrong. That includes Dr. Google. All those are our opinions and medical text printed on the internet. Right? What you read, what you hear, does not necessarily mean it's your truth. Just because you have a diagnosis, that is an opinion from somebody else as to what is going on. You are the ultimate decision maker as to what is happening with you. I'd like you to trust your intuition here, because accurate knowledge that you're not broken is the path to moving forward. It's the roadmap out of chronic pain or illness or symptoms. Doesn't matter what kind of symptoms you've got going on. Phone's blowing up. Oh, geez, it's crazy. All right, I'm going to silence it so it leaves me alone. Doesn't distract me. So the opinion of others is not your truth. Very much flat out. And if you're spending a lot of time living your life because you're so worried about what other people think about you, here's another concept that I like to kind of apply to my life. They're probably not thinking about you at all. Right? Anybody ever worries that, oh, I'm afraid to go out, people might look at me as if I'm disabled, or whatever it may be. You know, what other people think about us doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I think what's more important is, what do you think about yourself when you look in the mirror? Do you see somebody who you respect and admire, who's been through a hell of a lot, but is still getting up and trying? Is able to smile at yourself? Maybe give yourself that high five in the mirror. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Mel Robbins' The High Five Habit. You can find dozens and dozens of videos on YouTube about that. But do you like yourself when you look in the mirror? Do you see yourself as somebody worthy of support and encouragement? Or do you look at yourself and think of yourself as a piece of crap who's all sorts of broken? It matters, right? Because if all day long all you're doing is beating yourself up for not being good enough at this, not being enough at that, not being XYZ, having no life, having no friends, it's going to be really hard for your brain and nervous system to feel kind of safe. Because all day long you're just berating yourself with all this self-critical thoughts and statements and judgments, right? So I'm going to encourage you not to take the opinion of others as your truth. But if you've got a tendency to have a lot of self-critical and self-judgmental thoughts about yourself, recognize that's not your truth either. Those are just patterns of thought that you've possibly had for a long time that you've now accepted as truth because we tend to believe the things we think and say most often. But guess what? We can shift and change the things we think and say most often. And here's what I'll tell you. I did a video on self-esteem. Most self-image problems are not ours. They were given to us by other people, by our parents, our siblings, our relatives, by our classmates in school, the bullies, by the mean girls, the bully guys, by comparing ourselves with others, by bosses that were hypercritical of our performance, and frankly, with social media these days. It's like everything on social media is a contest. Who's got the best life? Let me compare my daily drudgery with chronic symptoms to everybody else's highlight reel, which is vacations and smiles with the family and look at me, I'm wonderful, I'm beautiful. And we can tend to take a dim view on ourselves and our lives just simply by comparing ourselves against this highlight reel called the internet. So much of that is fake. So many of these quote-unquote influencers who are leading this perfect life are miserable. And some of them are in chronic pain. I know because I've talked to some of them. I've actually coached some of them. They still have issues. They're not perfect, even though they portray this perfect sense. Not all of them. Some of them will actually portray a vulnerable, real side. And some of them actually start to talk about this mind-body TMS work, this perceived danger pain. Some of them actually send some people my way, which is wonderful. But please don't get caught up in this comparison trap. All right? Just not worth it. Totally, totally not worth it. So please, if you're putting a lot of weight on the opinion of others and assuming that, well, if somebody thinks this about me, then that must be true, I say BS. You don't have to accept that as your truth. And if you're the one who's being overly critical, overly judgmental, that doesn't have to be your truth either. What would happen if you started to treat yourself as a person you actually cared for, liked, respected, and wanted to encourage? Things can shift very quickly if you do that. And so I'm going to encourage you to do that because, in my opinion, not much else is more important than looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I may not always like you or your decisions or your results up until this point, but I value you. I see you as somebody worthy of support and encouragement. I believe in you. What would happen if that was your dominant thought when you looked at yourself? I think things would change drastically for you in a very positive direction. This isn't about positive thinking. This is just about saying, I'm done beating the crap out of myself. I am done judging myself so harshly. View yourself as a person who basically who warrants support and encouragement and love. So, others' opinions is not your truth. The truth is, I don't believe you're broken. I don't believe you're broken emotionally, physically, or mentally, despite what years of medication may have told you, years of therapy may have told you, years of other people's judgments may have told you, years of self-judgments may have told you. none of this is your fault? What if this is just where you ended up as a result of a lifetime of experiences and accepting other people's opinions as fact and truth? It's like medical diagnoses for all of our symptoms and pains. If you accept those medical opinions, those diagnoses as your truth, it's going to be really hard to teach this noggin of yours to turn off the symptoms and the pains, because the brain's kind of hanging on to this belief that, you're broken. So forgive the lighting. The sun's peeking through the leaves of the trees. That's what I got for you today. This is my 1192nd video, daily video in a row. Been doing this since April 1st of 2019. I love you guys and gals. I'm going to keep doing these. Currently, no plans to stop. So if you know anybody who might benefit by some of these words of encouragement, by some of the accurate knowledge with regard to how pain or other symptoms start and perpetuate, send them my way. Send them my channel. dansyoutube.com. If you're not a subscriber yet, click that big red subscribe button. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please do. It helps the channel. And if you're watching on Facebook, please leave a comment or like the video. So that's what I got for you today. Happy July 4th to anybody who's in the U.S. and celebrating that holiday. And otherwise, anybody around the world, happy July 4th, period. Doesn't have to be a holiday in your country. Anyway, love you guys and gals, and forgive the shadows. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.